This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no, no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens' Phonics. This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no, no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens' Phonics.
Hello and welcome to day 13 of Phonics with Mrs. Stevens. Make sure you've got your workbooks. We need to be on page 29 today. There it is. Can you see? Page 29. We've got our sound at the top. We've got our phoneme frames and we've got lines, which means we must be writing a sentence today. So plenty of writing. Let's give our fingers a little bit of exercise before we start. Okay. And we're going to kick off in our usual way by reminding our brain of all the sounds we have already been learning. Quick warm up and ready, steady. Here we go. Do you remember that one? Gnaw a bone. Well done. Make sure you're saying them with me nice and loudly. Or her. E, U or oo, ear, ch, ear, s, j. Well done, everybody. So today we are going to be thinking about a sound we have already heard, but we're going to be looking at a new way of writing or spelling that sound. So same sound, different spelling. And the sound today is the sound n. We talked about that one recently, haven't we? I wonder if you can remember what it looked like. There it is. Gnaw a bone. But today we're still thinking about the sound n, but we're going to look at a different way of writing that sound. So n is our sound today. And the new way that we are going to be looking at how it can be written is here. Here it is. N. We have got the K, the letter K at the beginning and the N next to it. And together those two letters make one sound. N. Sometimes we say it's a silent K because we don't hear the K, we only hear the N sound made by the letter N. But we know it's two letters, one sound, N. And of course, there is a caption action to go with it. I'm going to show you that close up. We have got a picture of a knee. So we're going to say, knock your knee. So just pat your knee. There's my knee. Have to bring it up really high to get it on camera. Pat your knee and say, knock your knee. Can we try that again? Knock your knee. Well done. So when we see this side, we're going to say and when we see this side, we're going to say knock your knee. Fantastic. Are you ready, steady? Make sure you're joining in. Make sure you're joining in. Knock your knee. Are you ready? When's it going to appear? Knock your knee. Well done. So today, sound is n, and we know that one, but we've got this n spelling of that sound. So I am going to pop this over here and hope it doesn't fall down, which it might. So let's see if we can read any n words with our new way of spelling that n sound. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. We are first of all going to read this word. There it is. I'm going to get my pen ready for sound buttons, and as I press the sound buttons you can make the sound and then we'll blend it together to read the word. So here we go. Make sure you're joining in. I, knife. I, knife. We've got the split vowel digraph there, haven't we? Let's try another one. Here I go. Okay, now let's see if we can read it. Are you ready? Say the sounds as I do the sound buttons. N, R, K, knock. Oh, like knock your knee. We had that one, didn't we? Let's see if we can read another one. Well done, everybody. Good job. Are you ready? Here I go with the sound buttons. You make sure that you're saying the sounds and then we'll blend them to read. N, ah, p, nup, n, ah, p, nup, nup. I don't think I've heard of that word before. You know what that means? Must be one of those alien words again. Nup. Definitely don't know that word. Let's just see if we can read this last one. Are you ready? With my squeaky pen, I'm going to do the sound buttons. Say the sounds with me. N, O, B, N, O, B, nobe. Well done. No, I've heard of nose, but I've not heard of nobe. I think that's another one of our alien words. Very well done, everyone. You have read 2 alien words and 2 real words. You've done a great job. Now, let's get ready with our phoneme frames next, shall we? So, I am going to wipe these words off of my board. You're going to make sure you've got your pencils at the ready. And I'm going to draw the first of our phoneme frames with all my wonky lines. Yours are lovely and tidy. And here's my phoneme frame. So let's see. Let's start off with something fairly straightforward to spell. Remember, this is the spelling that we're going to use. It would be interesting as we do this to think about where that spelling tends to come in a word. Is it a first sound, a middle sound, or a final sound? That will help us make sure that we're using the right ones each time. So let's have a think as we write some words. The first word we're going to write is the word knit. Somebody knits with knitting needles. Mrs. Stevens isn't very good at that. She'd like to be, but she's a bit rubbish at that. Mrs. Corley is much better. So knit. Let's look at the sounds. N, I, t, knit. Say them with me. Knit. N, I, t. 3 fingers means we only need 1, 2, 3 boxes on our phoneme frame. We've only got 3 sounds to write. So let's have a try. N. Well, we know what the N spelling is today. So I've got the sound bar and you can add the letters. N, I in the middle. You add the letters to match my sound buttons. And then the T, isn't it, at the end? Knit. See if you can write in the letters to match those sounds to write the word knit. Okay. Remember, you can pause me at any point. Hopefully you're ready. Knit. So we need the K and the N together with our knock your knee sound. N. In the middle we need the, that's right, we need the I. So what letter do we need? That's it. We need the I for the I sound. And at the end we needed the T sound. So we need the letter T. Well done. Make sure that you are calling out those letter names that we need to write the words. So first word, knit. Good job, everybody. So let's see if we can have a go, whoops, at another one. Rub that out carefully. Get ready with your pencil for our next word. And it is the word knee. We heard that in our caption action, knock your knee. So let's see if we can write the word knee. Knee, n, e. Oh, that's a short one, isn't it? N, e, knee. How many sound buttons? only 2. So we're not going to be using 2 of our boxes for this one. So remember, calling out the sounds as I say them, join in with me. So for ni, we need n. Good. And next is, that's right, it's the E sound, n-e. So write the letters to match those sounds. Go. Have you done that yet? I'm sure you have. So which 2 letters do we need? Tell me the names, call them out. That's it. We need the K and the N for the N sound. And then after that, we need the E sound. So we need 2 letters together. E, like this. And we know it's this E sound because that's often a middle or an end sound. 2 E's together. Have you noticed anything about the N sound? When we had knock and knee and knit, all of those are first sounds, beginning sounds. So this N spelling is a beginning sound. It will not typically be at the end of a word. So if I was thinking about the word run, n, I wouldn't use this spelling, run. I would use the N on its own. So the KN spelling, the knock your knee, is usually a beginning sound. So that's useful to remember, isn't it? Okay, so we won't do any more on our phoneme frames today because we are going to make sure that we've got enough time to write our sentence. So I'm going to clean my board off. You are going to make sure you can see where your lines are in your workbook for writing your sentence. Make sure you start right at the beginning of the line and work across to the end and then underneath if you need to. What else do we need to remember when we write a sentence? Can you tell me? We need a capital letter at the beginning, we need finger spaces between words, and we need a full stop at the end, really important. And we need to use nice, clear writing so that everyone can read what we have written. Okay, shall we have a listen to the sentence? Just putting that N card back there for a minute because that was helpful for us. Our sentence that we are going to read goes like this. Listen to me first. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. I'm going to say that and just count them on my fingers. You could join in if you like. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. 9 words. And there are my knuckles right on my hand, as it says. My knuckles are on my hand. So join in with me. Use your fingers to count the words. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. So we've got 9 words and you're saying them with me one last time. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. So now is a good time to pause me. You know what the sentence is that you need to write, and it will be good for you to try and write the sentence on your own first, remembering capital letter, full stops, and finger spaces. Got that in the wrong order. Capital letter, finger spaces, full stop. Go. So hopefully now you've all tried to write that sentence on your own. If you found it a bit tricky, don't worry because you can stay with me and we'll work on it together. Here we go. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. So my first word is I. Now, we always write I with a capital I, but it's the beginning of a sentence. So we definitely need to, don't we? I know. N-O. Oh, hang on, that N is a beginning sound. So I think this must be the spelling. I know. So the K and the N making the N sound, and then O, row your boat. I need the O sound. I know. Next word, that. Now that's one of our common words. That's one of the words we see a lot. So we should just know how to write it, but we can sound it out too. That, that. I know that my, now that's a tricky word. We should just know that one, don't forget, because we've been practicing. It's a tricky word and it's M-Y for my. I know that my knuckles, k, us. Oh, there's lots of sounds in there, aren't they? That first sound though is a n. So I'm going to use this spelling today, my knock your knee spelling. So I know that my knuckles, n, k, ooh, k. And then ools. Now I know that ooh, rumble in the jungle, knuckles at the end. There we go. I know that my knuckles, just going to move that, tricky word R. We see this one a lot, and so we should just know what it looks like. A-R-E. I know that my knuckles are, short word on, another one of those high frequency words that we should just know, like that, an O and an N. I know that my knuckles are on my, well, we've already had that one, so we know it's the M and the Y. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. Last one. N. That's N, tries to hide sometimes. And, hand. H-A-N-D. And as it's the end of my sentence, I need a full stop. Brilliant. Well, there we are then. I know that my knuckles are on my hand. Capital letter, finger spaces, full stop. Good job. So today, n with our K-N, knock your knee. Well done, everybody. See you next time.
This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens Phonics. This was supposed to be a film by Mrs. Corley. Mr. Watley couldn't work the electronics. Mrs. Lewis said no one else would have a go. So now it's time for Mrs. Stevens Phonics.